Alright, in this video I want to show you how to edit the All Data tab. And that is this tab here. I'm going to edit this range of cells, just these 9 cells here for Teacher 1. And to apply to the rest of them, it's just a matter of copying and pasting. But this spreadsheet assumes that you're giving your CFA in a matter of 3 days. And so for this CFA, and each day there's 3 questions, totaling 9 questions, but day 1 only has 3 questions. So we consider a student below if they got 0 out of those 3 questions correct. And here I want a percentage of students who got a 0 out of 3. And we consider a student to be approaching if they got 2 or 1 questions correct. So here I want a percentage of students who are considered approaching. And then here, of course, I want the percentage of students who got 3 out of 3. And if I look in the Teacher 1 tab, that day 1 information is all just found right here. So these other 2 columns or these other 2 ranges are for day 1 or day 2 and day 3, but I'm only considered with day 1 right now. So what I want to do is I want to scan through this range of cells and find a percentage of students who got 0. Correct. So I'm going to build this function slowly. Just so we kind of get the idea. It's this. I'm going to use the COUNTIF function. And notice the first thing inside the first argument it needs is the range. So the range is found in the Teacher 1 tab. So I click on that and notice it puts it into the function. And then the range of cells is here. This is the range of cells for day 1. So that's the range of information that I'm using. Throw a comma in, and then it asks for the criteria. So my criteria is that I want it to be the number of zeros. So I put a 0, close parentheses, I hit enter. And notice the number 2 pops up. And if you look over on Teacher 1 tab, in this range of cells, there's those 2 zeros. So this is not the percentage that we're looking for, this number 2 right here. It's actually a frequency, it's the number of students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a fraction. I'm going to take this COUNTIF function, and if I set it up as the numerator, which is what I'm going to do here, the numerator of a fraction, if the denominator is the number of students who took the exam, or the number of students in that range of cells, then we will get a fraction. We'll get a percentage, you know. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to now use, on the bottom of a fraction, the sum function. And I want to sum the following things. If I take this COUNTIF function and use it as an argument, this is saying take the sum of the first number is that 2 that we found, the number of students in that range of cells who got a 0. Then I can throw a comma in. Now I need to find number 2, so I'm going to hit paste again to repaste that function, but now I'm going to change the argument inside of the COUNTIF function. My criteria is now not that I'm looking for the number of students who got a 0, but the number of students who got a 1. And then I just keep this going. Paste it again. Now the number of students who got a 2. And then lastly, the number of students who got a 3. And if I close all of my parentheses, I'll end up with a percentage. And apparently it's 22% roughly. But I don't like this number. I don't like that the decimal is out front. So if I want to move the decimal to where it looks like a percentage, what I can do is I can take this and multiply it all by 100. So now instead of 0.22, I got 22.22. And then what I'm going to do is, to make it just a nice even number, I'm going to round all of this. Round all of this right here, go to the end. How many numbers of digits do I want? I'm going to put a 0, signifying that I want it rounded to the nearest whole number. And that's what we get right there. Now this is a percentage. And so now that I have one piece of information set up, it's way easier to set up the rest of them. For example, if I change this equal sign, I'm going to change it to 2 pound symbols, just so I can copy it and paste it without changing any of the function's arguments. If I put it down here in this proficient area, then now I just need to change the numerator of my fraction, which is right here. I just need to change the conditions to, if I'm in proficient, I want the percentage of students who got a 3 correct. And here, it's a little bit tougher, but I want the percentage of students who got not just a a 1 for approaching, but also I'm going to go in and add the number of students who got a 2. I'm going to add count if, and actually I can just copy and paste this. If I add the number of students who got a 2, correct? And if I ever want to check the functions, see if they work, I can replace this with an equal sign. And you might see, well, no, but sometimes you enter in too many parentheses or too little parentheses, and so Excel automatically, or sometimes automatically changes that for you, but here, this worked out fine. So I'm going to replace the equal sign again with the pound symbols and take this information and just copy it, paste it here and here. Because now, these are the same functions that I want, but the only thing that changes is the range of cells. So for day 2, the range of cells is not found in C7 to C15. For day 2 of teacher 1, it's found in D7 through D15. And this is found from day 3, E7 to E15. So that's what I need to change it to. I need to change for these 3 functions. I need to change all of these C's out with these. And I can use the find and select function. So if I hit find and select, replace, I say find what? Well, I want to find everywhere where it says C7 colon C15. And for day 2, I'm going to replace it with D7 through D15. I hit replace all. It tells me the number of replacements it made. And then we should be good there. And then I'm going to go to day 3. And for day 3, remember, all of that information is found in column E of the Teacher 1 tab. So I'm going to replace all of the C's with the letter E. I hit replace all. And then lastly, just to make sure it works, I'm going to go through and change these double pound symbols with an equal sign, just to make them functions once again. And you can see we get numbers. We get the percentages. So this is what we wanted to see. Alright, I'm going to go back and replace all of these equal signs with pound symbols once again, because I have to now take them and paste them to the teacher 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 columns. And the only thing that needs to change about these functions is where it says teacher 1. Anywhere it says teacher 1, now I want it to say teacher 2, and then teacher 3, because if you notice, those teacher tabs are identical. You know, for CFA 1, day 1 is found on C, day 2 is found on D, and day 3 is found on E. So all of the student data is from C through E on row 7 through 15. And the same thing would be true for all of these other teachers. Look, C, D, E, starting at row 7. C, D, E, starting on row 7. So whenever I go in here, all I need to do is find all of this information, hit find and select, and I want to replace, and I want to find everywhere where it says teacher 1, and I want to replace it with teacher 2 for this teacher 2 tab. So I hit replace all. Done, they've made the replacements. I do the same thing here, but now I want it to say teacher 3. Hit replace all. Great. Now, here where it says teacher 1, I want it to say teacher 4. And you get the idea. We'll just keep going through it. And then lastly, teacher 6. Here we go. And then, to finally set it up, I think I can highlight all of these, replace those pound symbols with equal signs. Replace all. There it is. So that's how you set up the all data page or the all data tab in the CFA spreadsheet. I will say it's important. You can see how once I set up teacher 1, I was able to just copy and paste it for the rest of these teachers. If you have one teacher that just goes rogue with their little tabs, so say that this is, you know, Mr. Evans' tab, and I decide to add columns and change, you know, the layout of the sheet completely, then all of the arguments for these functions would have to change as well. You know, this part. So try to avoid that. Try to have one person responsible for the spreadsheet maintenance and keeping up with it, I guess, and then have the rest of the teachers just be responsible for, inputting in their individual student data. So that's all I got. This is the hardest and most, I guess, cumbersome part of this process, but if you can get through one CFA setting it up, the rest of them become much easier to set up.